There's a lot of good songs from the 70s. Artists like Kiss, ABBA, the Sex Pistols, Led Zeppelin, and so much more. But there's a lot more crap than there is good in the 70s. So in this video we'll be looking at these so-called crap songs using data that I pulled from the Australian Top 100 charts from the years 1970 to 1979. We'll be looking into these songs divided into 4 different categories to see what is the worst. So without further ado, let's begin. The first category we were looking at is the weird, which are, the weird song. First off, Disco Duck. It's a song about a duck in a disco. It's stupid. Also, it was made by a radio DJ, so yeah. Of course, it's not funny. Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep is mostly remembered for this one clip.
Where's your mama gone?
Where's your mama gone?
Where's your mama gone?
Where's your mama gone?
Far, far away. Ooh-wee, chirpy, chirpy, cheep, cheep, chirpy, chirpy, cheep, cheep, chirp.
By itself, it's also a pretty crap song. And a bit annoying too. Rolf Harris had only one song on the top 100 in the 1970s, and it was this, Two Little Boys, which, knowing what he did, it's a bit weird, but not as weird as this cover of I Touch Myself.
I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Ooh, I don't want anybody else.
Lucky Number by Lenny Lovitch. This is my kind of jam, but you may be wondering, what's it on the list for? I'll tell you why. That fucking noise. Jesus Christ. Guess that I can boogie. A bit too European for my liking, but it does boogie though, but in a bad way. Do you want to touch me? No, Gary Glitter. I don't want to touch you. Lovin' You by Minnie Riperton. The pretty innocent enough song, if you listen to the radio edit, except for that one bit. The Lord's Prayer. It's the Lord's Prayer with a backbeat. May I say more?
Can't you see you're not making Christianity better? You're just making rock and roll worse.
This next category is the boring songs, which are boring. So of course we got Fanfare for the Common Man, which, listening to it, makes you realise why punk was very important. Because it goes on for 9.5 minutes, and it fucking sucks. Tonight's the Night is the least horny sounding song in the world, until you look at the lyrics.
Spread your wings and then come inside, 'cause
He used to give me roses.
On the inside is the theme tune, The Prisoner, which was like a show from the 70s and 80s in this country. The show's not very good. No, I do the theme song.
And I...
Bette Midler's cover of Do You Want to Dance is pretty boring, if I do say so myself. I mean, it's not as good as the original. In fact, let's hear a bit of that original.
Well, do you wanna dance?
And now let's hear Bette Midler's version.
Do
Yes. I think I know which one's better.
Our love is alive.
Stumbling In. It wouldn't be on this list if it wasn't for that remix from a couple of years ago, which reminded people just how boring the original is. Look, God. And now, before we get into the next category, I'm gonna warn you. It's gonna get a bit weird. Weirder than the weird. Don't say I didn't warn you. Here we go. The Osmonds are the least played hitmakers of the 1970s, and for good reason, because they're not very good. They've had multiple songs on the Australian Top 100. In fact, they've had 6 in the 1970s. I think 6 in total. But yeah, I decided to put all of them in because, you know, they're different from the others in the bad way. So yeah, first off we got The Long-Haired Lover from Liverpool, which is sung by a kid who isn't even from Liverpool. False advertising right there. Then you got Poppy Love, which is by Donny Osmond, who we will talk about a bit later. Then you got Young Love, which is also by Donny Osmond. And then we get to this. I'm Leaving It All Up to You by Donny and Marie Osmond. Now, as you can see, these two are siblings, and this isn't even their worst song. That would be The Morning Side of the Mountain, which is about two people who want to bone each other, and it's sung by two siblings. That's just what happens in Tasmania.
There are lots of girls who say nice things about Donnie, but I'm the only girl who can say he's my brother.
Marie?
Yeah, Donnie?
We cannot tell Mom.
The 12th and Never, which is another Donny Osmond song, because apparently Donny Osmond is the fucking Beatles. And then you got Paper Roses, which is by Marie Osmond. Which is decent enough for an Osmond tune. So I'm just going to rate all the Osmond songs as 1. But when we get to the top 10, which I'm doing, we will have to do each song separately as a rating. So grouping them all together, they're a bit shit. Especially Morning Side of the Mountain. But that doesn't count because it's not on it.
It's not the way that you do it, but how you do it.
Now it's time for the mind numbing, because these are the ones that make my mind go numb. First off, you got The Way That You Do It. It kind of sucks. Then we have You're Having My Baby, which is pretty infamous for being one of the worst songs of all time. And yeah, I get that. But a billion people have talked about it already, and I have nothing to add to it, so yeah. Gypsies, Tramps and Thieves. Probably one of the worst Cher songs.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, I mean, it's not as bad as the songs off of All Man and Woman, which you should listen to if you have a stomach for crap. Then you have You Light Up My Life, which is boring. Then you have Baby It's You, which has a scream, which goes like this.
Starland Vocal Band? They suck!
Then you have Afternoon Delight, which is basically Tonight's the Night, but even less horny and way more creepy. Like, how are these people fucking? Like, How is that possible? Then you have Love Will Keep Us Together, which is the stock footage for whenever someone on YouTube decides to say how crap 70's music is. They play that clip. And then you have Single Bed. I don't know how to explain this one. He's a meme I made.
I sleep in a single bed.
There ain't no room for your sweet hair.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's time to count down the top 10 worst hit songs of the 1970s. Let's go.
You're having my baby. What a lovely way.
Loving you is easy come.
Two little boys had two little toys. Each
Love will keep us together.
But all I got is a single bed.
And you light up my skyrockets in flight. Afternoon delight. I'm leaving it all up to you.